So I randomly felt inspired today to make a video about, I have like a flamethrower torch right now for this. I can't find my lighter. I feel inspired to make a video coming from a 32, almost 33-year-old woman to someone like who my younger self was, to a young woman in her 20s, maybe even a woman my age now who doesn't have any real guidance or support from anyone, about relationships, about chasing men or chasing a partner, seeking validation from a partner, being attracted to narcissistic or abusive partners, kind of talking about like maybe what's going on internally, what that wound is, and kind of use the things I've been through and the insights I have learned through that situation, just to kind of share. I just feel like someone out there might be going through this, and maybe this video you'll stumble upon it when you need to hear this message the most. It can feel very lonely. It can feel very scary. It can feel very intense when you're in the middle of one of these situations. So for starters, let's say there's a partner who love bombed you, who was so charming, so perfect, everything you ever wanted and more, at the beginning. And suddenly you're starting to see some red flags, and they probably start off very subtle. Almost maybe you could push the blame on what's happening on something else. So what I remember very vividly is this feeling of desperately needing this person's approval. It was the most powerful addiction I had ever faced. I couldn't explain to people, my best friends, my family, why I kept going back to this person, why I couldn't make sense in my head. Like, I knew what he was doing was abusive, that he didn't love me because his actions were not showing it. But something in my brain, it was like psychological warfare. I could not get it through my head that this would never change. And this is very common with narcissistic abuse, that it does psychologically alter your brain, and it is like a very powerful addiction, like a drug. When they're kind to you, when they're loving to you, it releases lots of dopamine. When you're intimate with each other, it releases the oxytocin, which makes you very physically and emotionally attached to the person despite the abuse. So I think maybe not for everyone, but a lot of people who are prone to this kind of attachment to these kind of people probably have gone through some kind of abuse as a child. Maybe they had a narcissistic parent or a parent with some type of personality disorder as a child. So when you're raised around someone with a personality disorder, your normal is not actually normal, but you don't know that. So you're used to maybe tiptoeing around a parent who has very big, uncontrolled emotions. They might be super like friendly and fun 1 second, and then the next second they're exploding, they're angry, maybe physically abusive, and they never sit down and explain to you even like, I'm sorry, that was wrong. I lost my temper, I lost control. There's no reconciliation. There's never any closure. It's just, when it's this, you better watch out. You better tiptoe. You better sit down, shut up, be quiet. And when they're this, you need to take in all the love and affection that you can when they're this way, because it may not be that way for very long. This is how you are wired. Your brain developed this way to see this as normal, to accept this as what love is, as what relationships are like. When you are wired that way, your brain is literally constructed to see this as what normal reality is. This is how you see relationships. So for people who have grown up that way, we are easily able to overlook red flags in relationships early on, because red flags to us are just normal behavior that we're used to seeing. We don't see it as red flag or green flag. We see it actually as, this is familiar to me, so this feels safe, even though the person who feels safe is actually not safe. Our wires have been messed up. They've been wrongly programmed to believe that what isn't safe is safe, and that what is safe is not safe, or even boring. So I overcame a lot of actual physical addictions, but the hardest addiction for me to break was chasing after a narcissist. I felt like I had no self-worth. I felt like I was ugly. I felt like I actually needed this person's approval to be worth anything. I convinced myself that this person felt the same way about me, but I needed to help them heal to become their best version, that I had to help heal them. And I forgot all about healing myself, and I didn't see the sickness that I was engulfed in, chasing this person relentlessly at the expense of my own sanity, at the expense of my own mental and physical and spiritual health. And at the end of it, I didn't even recognize myself anymore. I had no identity. If you relate to this in any way, please know you are not alone. You are not crazy. You are not stupid. You're not ugly. You're not worthless. There's nothing wrong with you. Your brain likely was formed this way. And yes, it's very challenging to rewire your brain, to change the way you look at relationships, to change your view on love. It's very, very challenging. And most likely, if you were raised by people like that, the people closest to you aren't really going to be able to help you very much to change that, because they likely are the ones who contributed to the way your brain works. So, therapy, yes, I recommend that. That can definitely help, to have someone with a rational state of mind to help guide you through your own irrational thoughts and feelings and reactions and tendencies. But there is a lot of self-work that you have to do. Therapy will not do the work for you, but it can help guide you to the right direction. Now, for me, it took a solid 4 years of chasing someone who, it was very apparent, had no interest in me. His actions did not match his words, but I would hold on to those words with the hope that one day he would just change. And the thing is that nobody taught me is this particular individual, this personality disorder that this type of person has, they are predators, and they see your weaknesses. They see your vulnerabilities. They're very intelligent in that way. They pick who they want to victimize. They know what they're doing, and that was the hardest part for me to grasp, is he is preying on me. He actually enjoys my suffering. He enjoys making me not feel safe. He enjoys seeing me cry and overreact and call his phone and become nothing like I was when he met me. He enjoyed that. That was the goal. Now, why that is, I could spend all day trying to figure out his childhood, trying to figure out his wounds, trying to figure out if he's good or bad or this or that or a narcissist or a psychopath. But none of that at the end of the day matters. All we can do, the best thing you can do to avoid these types of situations and people is to start trusting your own body, start trusting your own gut. Because even if you were raised to not listen to your body, to not trust your gut, the work starts with relearning how to listen to ourselves, not our parents, not our friends, not other people who are sick, but we get in tune with the part of us that is healthy, that is all-knowing, that does have the answers, that does know what is safe and what is not safe. And we start tuning into that. So the best way is to start learning how to calm our nervous systems. We have to learn how to be alone, how to spend time with ourselves, and that be okay. I used to lay in bed on the weekends when I didn't have anyone around, and I would go into a full-blown panic. That was my biggest trigger, is when I was alone. I felt like I had to be with this person. I had to escape myself. I had to get away from myself, get out of my head, get out of my body, get out of my thoughts, get out of my mind. And he was my drug to escape myself. This is a whole journey on its own, learning to be alone. Be at peace with being alone. I have learned how to go out to eat by myself. I am at home all alone right now and have no plans to be with anyone today. And I thoroughly enjoy my solitude. Completely different person night and day than I was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So I've done a lot of meditation, and that can be as little as like 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be anything hard. I go outside a lot. I put my feet in the grass. I do slow, deep breathing. That is probably the easiest one to start learning when you get stressed, when you get triggered. And I hold for 4, or I inhale for 4, I hold for 7, and then I release for 8. So it's a full, shorter 4-second inhale, and you hold it for about 7 seconds. And then it's it's a quick inhale, and it's a slow, long, steady exhale. Do that like 3 times, 5 times, 6 times. And you'll start to feel your nervous system calm down. It helps get you out of fight or flight. And that is the biggest thing we can work on every day when we are triggered, when we are stressed, when we are lonely, is to just calm ourselves down, to learn to trust that we have the tools to self-regulate, to self-calm, to self-soothe without another person, without a drug, without anything, without a cigarette, just our bodies, the air, the ground. You can lay with your eyes shut and just not think, just do nothing for 10 minutes, meditation. This is not going to happen overnight. This is one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through. It took, like I said, 4 years, and it ended very, very badly. So I make this video because of the seriousness of these types of men, these types of people, these predators. They can be men or women, by the way. You may think that they would never physically harm you, but oftentimes they do end up physically harming the person they're with. And I hate that there's women out there who are going through these things, and probably all your friends are getting frustrated with you. They might even be shaming you at this point. Like, I don't know why you keep going back. Like, what's wrong with you? And I see how it can be frustrating for other people. But it's hard to find someone who teaches you the tools you need to actually heal what is going on inside of you, to heal your nervous system. So I highly, highly recommend therapy. You need someone to talk to about this. You need someone to tell all this to help guide you in a healthy way. Please find a good therapist that you feel 100% comfortable and safe around. And if you need to change therapists until you find one that is a perfect match, I suggest that as well. And then you have to learn, after you learn to regulate yourself, which is a constant daily practice, how to love yourself just the way you are. You don't need anyone to validate that you're good enough. You don't need anyone to prove your self-worth. You don't need anyone to make you happy, to make you feel good, to make you excited for your day. You don't need anyone to cure your boredom. You don't need to escape yourself. You have so much to offer. And maybe you were not taught that growing up, and that is so painfully hard and difficult and challenging, and I understand that to my core. But if this message resonates with someone out there going through anything like this, I pray that this helps inspire you and help you remember that you are not broken. This is actually very normal, what you're going through, even if it looks totally effed up and crazy and abnormal. You can get through this. You can heal yourself. You can enjoy being alone. And please be careful. Please take care of yourself. It's rough out there when people pretend to be something they're not, when they are a wolf in sheep's clothing. But your gut knows. Just start listening to yourself. Start trusting yourself. You've been taught your whole life that you can't trust yourself, that you're crazy, that what you say doesn't matter, that what you feel doesn't matter. And I'm here to tell you, you're an adult now. What happened to you is not your fault. And you can trust yourself. You can trust how your body feels. And you need to. And if anyone wants me to talk more about this, narcissistic relationships, abusive relationships, how to heal from them, how to, just tools you need, just anything like that, just leave a comment. I'd be happy to talk more about this topic. But yeah, something just called me to talk about that. I don't know why. I don't know who will hear this, who it will help, but I pray that the right eyes see this at the right time, just to help kind of guide you through this rough time you might be having, because I know it's hard out there. So I hope everyone has an amazing day and an amazing week, and I love you guys.